a horse in this race, but retractor knows he does. Now he's got egg on his face. The donkey's on the left got owned by a kid. They can say it was a crime, but retractor knows what he did.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Hi, this is Matt Lewis from the Daily Caller, and you are listening to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Hi, I'm Dustin Hoyt with America Our Way, and you can hear me right here on Vigilant Liberty Radio at 10/9 Central on Thursday nights. We bring you the best in political commentary from the right-wing, conservative, libertarian perspectives coming together and bringing the best content on the internet. Be sure to tune in every week for your favorite shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Hi, this is Taylor, and while you're listening to all the other great shows here on Vigilant Liberty Radio, be sure to check out my show on Saturday nights called Saturday Night Cigar Lounge. You never know what we're going to talk about. It's always a fun time. That's Saturday Night Cigar Lounge, Saturday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Final half hour, I can't believe it, Housem. Hour and a half in the archives. 412-567-6879 if you wish to weigh in. Dude, as is always the case, we find ourselves with a half hour to go and 4 hours of stuff to talk about. Got some student stuff here. I mean, I don't know. Where do you want to go, dude?
No, please do. Go.
Let me see. Let me do some triage here. One of my favorite. University of Texas. Fraternity under investigation by, listen to this, Division of Diversity. There is a Division of Diversity after students wear sombreros and construction worker outfits to a fraternity party.
Wait, you've got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not. Monsters, man. Come on. The Division of Diversity at the university investigating this fraternity because at this party they had sombreros and construction worker outfits and so forth on.
So wearing a sombrero is racist?
Apparently. I don't get the construction worker thing unless it's, goes back to, oh my God, what's the name of that group? YMCA? Jessica?
The Village People. Jeez.
The Village People, yeah. So that, I guess that is anti-gay or something. I guess I'm maybe reading into it. But anyway, Phi Gamma Delta at a party. Culture, costumes, and construction worker scenario.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, at least 9 complaints to the division of diversity over these outfits, man.
So is the idea that because they're construction, saying that they're construction workers, that is maligning to Hispanics or something?
Well, no, I think it's two different costumes. I mean, the thing about the sombreros is obviously maligning to Hispanics, but I don't get the construction
Well, the
worker thing.
construction worker thing. Now, I don't know about back there, but out here, a significant portion of the construction trade is dominated by Hispanic workers in Southern California.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I don't see that connection here, but that may very well be the case.
And I'm sure that's the same thing in Texas. But, and this, of course, is anecdotal. But when I started my contracting company in 2002, my insulation company, I hired a buddy to be my crew chief, my initial crew chief. I went out and bought a truck and bought all the stuff to staff it
Right.
as a capitalist. Hired a buddy to run the crew, and then he hired his son-in-law and a handful of friends of theirs some of them had construction experience, some of them hadn't, as guys that he knew that were dependable, hardworking, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the names were like Josh and Mike and Rick and Tim and Jeremy.
So there
Right.
are no Pedros in there, right?
No. And then within 4 years or so, all of the last names of most of the guys that were on all of my crews were Gonzalez, Sanchez, Gutierrez,
Right.
and again, that's purely anecdotal. I'm not making any kind of broad brush cultural statements here. But let's just say that as an owner of of the specific type of contracting that I was doing,
Right.
it made a lot of sense. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, listen, let me think. How many houses back? 3 houses ago, I had a house built. And yeah, it was like overnight to me. Again, I'm in the Midwest. The entire construction crew was Hispanic. I don't know how many of them were legal or illegal, but that had not happened at the previous house, okay? And that kind of surprised me, kind of surprised me, because I live in Indiana. So I get that. I guess I get that, the construction connection.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know what kind of general comment could be, but I definitely understand. I can see where they're coming from, at least from my experience, that a bunch of college kids would, if they're doing a weekend party and there's going to be, construction workers. I can understand that, but
So do you think that if they, let me ask you this, if it was just sombreros, they did a thing with, we've seen this before. I think you and I have talked about it before. I think at least I've written about it before. If it was just a kind of a Cinco de Mayo thing, Jessica, we talked about this back on my show. If it was just a Cinco de Mayo type thing, where you had Mexican food, you had the sombreros and the whole bit, had it just been that instead of the addition of the construction worker thing, do you think that it would have gotten to this point?
Well, I mean, I think when we talked about it in the Cinco de Mayo, they had a Cinco de Mayo party, and there was another college that they had a problem with it too, just for the Cinco de Mayo party.
Right.
So I think it could have still happened.
Well, I do too, but do you think because they threw in the construction worker thing as if that was a caricature of Hispanics? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I think I think all that stuff is in good fun, but I don't know. People are very sensitive now.
Right.
well, there definitely is a political correctness to it. Now, speaking of people being too sensitive. Mike, did you see this story that IJR just put up a couple hours ago of mine about what's going on in Puerto Rico?
You know what? I saw the headline. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, folks. Okay, so this is up at ijreview.com, an article that I put up this morning. New proposal would have fat police check kids for obesity
I
and
love
fine and fine parents for not complying. So here's the deal. You know what? Puerto Rico, as you know, it almost when I see Puerto Rico, I have to remind myself, oh, that's right. That's a U.S. territory. That's a U.S.
And I have been there, by the way.
Oh, you have? Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting. I have a friend of mine's was
I
born
have
in Puerto
family
Rico.
there.
You do?
Yeah, I have some family there. Actually, I visited them for the first time that I went to Puerto Rico.
Okay, can I just digress for just a second about Puerto Rico? All right, so you land at the airport. You go past old Puerto Rico. You see the fort out on the end of the whatever. And then, but you notice all the way to the hotel zone, there are bars on every window. Every window. Mobile homes have bars on the windows. So,
Yeah, that's a common theme in a lot. I don't know, in Miami and like Hialeah and stuff like that. There's bars on everything too.
really?
Yep.
Anyway.
Is that more of a statement of what's going on in the community, or is that a statement about the people themselves who just put them on their homes as a thing?
Well, it's both.
It is.
Well,
It's
the
both. It's a little
former-
bit of both. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, when I came back to the States, there was a nurse from Puerto Rico who also worked at hospital in New York City, and I asked her about that. And I also asked her about the fact that in conjunction, there were like the police were everywhere, like they were on corners and whatever have you. And I said, okay, so you got police everywhere, but you got these bars on the window. What's going on? And she said, unlike in New York in the boroughs, and I did not know this until she told me this, you can't be a cop in a borough where you live. You have to be somewhere else. She said in Puerto Rico, the police are threatened. Like, we know where you live. We know who your kids are. And if you try to bust us, drugs or whatever, yeah, we know where you live.
It's a
Very
whole-
interesting stuff.
It is a whole other world. I'm sure you noticed the driving over there too.
Right.
Yes. Okay then. That's enough
Anyway,
said.
sorry to digress, but Puerto Rico is a very interesting place.
No, definitely. My experience with Puerto Rico is really, what's the musical?
West Side Story.
Are you really going to the West Side
I
Story?
loved West Side
That's
Story.
hilarious.
Oh my God, I love West Side Story.
That was just more of a joke than anything else.
I know, but I still love it. I'm sorry.
All right, so here's the deal. In Puerto Rico, I got I got 5 words into this article, and we just went off onto that tangent.
But that's why
I
people
said
think-
in the U.S. territory, Puerto Rico, and then off we went. Hilarious.
That's why people love us.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I love us. Anyway, so here's the deal. Legislators proposed a bill that would fine parents if their children are obese. The fines up to $800 would not be immediate, but would be assessed if the parents fail to successfully follow recommendations. Here's the process. Education officials would notify parents if their child is obese. Health officials would work with parents to identify the cause and create a plan to help the child lose weight. A series of monthly follow-ups and assessments would occur. If after 6 months a determination is made that the parents were not following the plan, or if sufficient weight loss has not occurred, the case would then be referred to Child Services for potential fines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So-
see that working real well.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. The sponsoring legislators assert that the obesity epidemic is growing and parents need to be enabled to make better decisions, and curbing obesity is a necessary for society due to its costs. Now, here's this. Compared to the U.S., Puerto Rico's obesity rate is high. 30% of the island's children are considered obese compared to 18% here in the mainland. Only 12 states had a higher rate of adults who were obese or overweight in 2013 than compared to Puerto Rico.
Right. I mean, maybe part of the digression about Puerto Rico is, I mean, call me